Hey y'all. So this is like last night, way later than I anticipated coming on. But I have been watching YouTube in the last few hours and I was editing a video earlier today and then I was trying to catch up and I was going to the normal places to see if anybody had put out stuff on Dog the Bounty Hunter in a negative fashion. If anybody wasn't cheering him on or talking about it from the other angle of what is this? And I saw quite a few people saying that they thought it was a PR stunt, but I want to take it a step further and give you guys some food for thought because I think there's a bigger agenda here than even what some people are realizing. And this is going to be controversial. Um, but it's really not controversial either because I'm going to provide facts of why I'm saying the things I am in the connecting pieces. So I wanted to talk about this a little bit tonight, and tomorrow we'll go in a full deep dive. All right. First and foremost, I want to tell everybody that this will be involving talks around political conversations. If that makes you uncomfortable, please hit the X button and check out now. It is not about whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. That is not what we're talking about tonight. So please feel free to have your choices. What we're going to be talking about is extremists, some propaganda being pushed, and using the true crime genre to do so. And I'm not going to just talk about it. I'm going to show you some examples. Hey, Pika. Hey, Terry. Hey, Passion for Victims, Emerald Skies, Janice in the County, and Jennifer M, Roro, Napa Valley Girls, Skip to My Lou, Much Endeavor, Smiles, Kathy 4, Anonymous, The Deflectionist, Teresa, Catherine, Mal, Mother of Two Boys, Steph, Nature Rocks, Sunday, 13th Hour, Warning Label, Nina, Chatty, Brew in Hell, Baton Rouge, KM. I approve this message. Misfit Cooter. Hey, Wolfie. Hey, Evie. KT. Is he on his way to Tennessee? Hey, Lip Locked. Hey, Gentrex. All right. The Black Widow. Yeah. Well, this is actually, I'm not very shocked by this. Hey, KNS. I hate to say it, but this is kind of a typical thought process out here anymore. Hey, Angel Sleuth, and people will miss a bigger picture because it makes people uncomfortable. KCG, Lulu, that Michelle, Tina, mom of 3 boys, fit and curvy. Hershey, Minnesota Greg, Beaverhausen, Truth Matters, Kimberly, Anyaka, Miss Brit. Yep. Okay. So first and foremost, I am going to ask the chat, please be respectful to each other. Differing opinions are fine, especially with political topics. That's acceptable. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about extremists. You'll see what I'm going to get into here. You'll kind of understand. So I kept asking myself, why would a person like Dog the Bounty Hunter be getting involved in a missing child's case 6 months after the child went missing. Well, no matter which way you turn this or spin this, hey, Aries, Catherine, you cannot come up with like a typical answer. He is a bounty hunter and a bail bondsman. This is out of his wheelhouse. He has denied other missing persons cases. So why this one? Well, it's because it's in the national media, in my opinion. These are my opinions. Definitely attention grabbing. He's on a book push, his little book that he wrote. His TV show was canceled. I mean, he's in his 70s. Tell me what, he's not like super active. I mean, he's still in shape, okay, but he's not out there doing the on the ground. Yes, he's got a team of people, but anything he's talked about as of recently, any project that I could find, he's talked about how much he needs financing for all of these projects. So to me, it's really odd too that he's ponying up $25K. Where's that money coming from? Does he have a foundation, a 501c3? Who's putting up that money? Is it him personally? Is it his Dwayne Chapman? Is Dwayne Chapman putting the money up? Or is the Dog the Bounty Hunter series name putting up the money? Like, there's so many questions I have. And then I also have the question of, is somebody attempting to get a movie deal here? Do we have the new Sean Reyes, Tim Ballard, Sound of Freedom upon us with a missing child? Like, are they having whiteboard visions here in back rooms? Because even the attorney that represents this company was it's just the, let me tell you about that guy for a minute. Hold on. I'll tell you. So their attorney, he went to law school in Villanova. He worked for the Delaware County District Attorney's Office for over 9 years, serving a majority of that time in the Special Victims Domestic Violence Division, prosecuting hundreds of sexual assaults, child abuse, and domestic violence cases. That's great. While in that division, he served as chief and lead prosecutor of the Pennsylvania Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, ICAC, under a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice. The task force investigated, prosecuted internet exploitation and child pornography cases. Does that sound similar to what you guys have heard us talk about? There's more to it, and we'll get into more of that yesterday. Bruin, yeah, that's the guy that's been signing the paperwork, like making the post, like made the clarification post. That's the attorney on that. So I'm assuming, I don't know exactly, they represent, what is it? Hold on. Let me tell you exactly what it says on his post. Give me 1 second.
Hey, Josh.
Law offices of Joseph Lesnick. And he's the one that made the correction post to, upon review, we identified an error in the earlier news release that mentioned this includes conducting various tests. That guy. So I'm not sure exactly which piece of it and how many of them he's representing. Like if he's representing the company solely, if he represents these people individually. There's a lot of questions that I can't answer with all of this because there's so many different pieces to it. Like you have Dwayne Chapman, and then you have the Dog the Bounty Hunter franchise and character, and then you have this other guy that is part of the company. There's so many things.
Hey there, Michelle.
But I want to talk about Dog the Bounty Hunter, and I'm going to push back some here because I'm hearing so many people just jump up and down and praise the fact that Dog the Bounty Hunter is involved in this. And I have yet to see anybody really come out and like talk about, do you guys know who Dog the Bounty Hunter is? Do you know what you're supporting? Let's get into it.
Hey, Teresa.
So we're going to start here. This is from WKRN News.
Search for missing teen.
Kyle just got here too, by the way.
Hello.
Well, he didn't just get here. He's been here, but
Sebastian Rogers, and is also raising the reward money. Several agencies, including the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, leading searches for the teen before eventually scaling back. Well, Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, tells News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry his team will get answers.
His team will get answers. Very confident. Again, there's a 15-year-old missing child here, and it's become about, we've said this, so I've said this until I'm blue in the face. It's become about everything, and people will say, well, nonsense, Becky, you're not doing anything different. I'm not a true crime channel. I'm not an awareness channel. I'm an asshole with a YouTube channel that talks about the characters around this. I don't even like to have an opinion on these parents, truly, because there's enough of that going on that I don't need to join that crowd. And I have at times, because it's hard not to. Just like SF, I agree with his post last night, but I can't get all the way there with the end part of his post. But I can see why some people are getting there. I just am not there myself. I'm going to continue to focus on the characters that keep inserting themselves. But if I ask you guys to do anything tonight, it's please listen with an open mind, because as soon as I start talking politics and extreme, people freak out. When I talk extremists or political propaganda rhetoric that's being pushed, people will lose their minds and shut off the conversation. And I think it's time some of you realize what is being done right in front of our faces.
In the last 6 months, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, along with several other agencies, searched for a little over a week before officials said they were scaling back to focus efforts on the investigative side. Following the search for Riley Strain, search groups like the United Cajun Navy have helped look.
The outpouring was just so strong for us to stay and look for Sebastian. We said, you know what, since we're here, let's do it.
But that team withdrew from search efforts with no
That one right there, the blonde one, is Riley Lively.
side of
She's a TikToker.
Sebastian. Bullhorn Betty, a true crime social media influencer, also joined in on the search efforts, supporting Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers.
Our opinions are that a few people have more information than what they're saying.
Since Sebastian first went missing, his father, Seth, has not given up on searching for his son.
The search that we're doing today is a recovery effort, and I'm praying that we don't find him.
Now, celebrity bounty hunter Dwayne Chapman, known as Dog, has stepped in to help Seth.
This is one of
Celebrity bounty hunter.
the most horrendous cases of missing children that we've ever worked on.
Law enforcement.
Do you know how many missing children there are? That's probably because he doesn't work on missing children cases. This is out of his wheelhouse. So for him, it's probably true. That's probably a true statement, because this is not something he does, unless there's personal motivation involved in it, in my opinion.
It has not said anything criminal happened to Sebastian, but Dog says he wants to find anyone responsible for Sebastian's disappearance.
The bottom line is, if you hurt a child like this, you've got a problem. So,
And what if nobody hurt this child? What if the child did just walk out that door? What if there is nothing nefarious? What if it's just a tragic accident at the end of the day? What if? I mean, following law enforcement and the facts that we do know of this case, everything's still on the table, right? It's an open investigation, not even a criminal investigation, no matter how many times people try to tell you other things.
that is
The only criminal element to this is Bullhorn Betty's 6 violations right now.
the main motivation for me to be hunting who did this.
Dog and his team created a new missing persons flyer for Sebastian Rogers. In it, they explain how they're working independently from law enforcement, reevaluating the information collected and following up on new leads.
So once again, they're going to be getting and funneling through all the fake neighbors, all the fake dog handlers, starting back at square one to funnel through all of the characters that have inserted themselves to fellow characters now that think they have some sort of authority or deserve some sort of information on a missing child's case, when law enforcement has been working tirelessly since the very beginning.
They also say they've added $50,000 more to the reward, making a total of $100,000.
Because that is a lot of money I don't care if you're rich, you know, that's a lot of money.
Dog tells me he believes that by working with Seth, following up on leads, and an increase in the reward money, they will find the answers they've been looking for.
You can run, but you can't hide who did it. We're going to find out.
In Nashville, Caitlin Quisenberry, News 2.
And there's Sebastian, the missing child that's forgotten in all of this. So first and foremost, you heard them say that he was working with Seth. So there's that. So he is working with Seth. That's kind of a not working to find Sebastian, in my opinion. That's working to find weed through Seth's answers. Like, I don't know. In my opinion, if he was in this to find Sebastian, he'd be, I'm working beside the family members or nothing at all. I mean, that's truly my opinion, but okay, moving along. Let me go to this one. So TMZ did an article. Dog the Bounty Hunter helped me find Sebastian Rogers on the hunt for missing teen. Okay, so it's bringing publicity. That is the only thing I can say so far that is a plus of his involvement. It's getting more people to pick up and put his face in other places. But once again, he's taking the back seat. If you can even see in this photo here, dog's in front of Sebastian. If they were trying to get the word out about the missing child, the child would be front and center, not Dog the Bounty Hunter. So there's that. But that's my opinion. The search for a missing 15-year-old, it's also TMZ. 15-year-old boy with autism is going Hollywood. Dog the Bounty Hunter is officially joining the hunt for Sebastian Rogers. The famed TV personality just announced he's getting involved in the case of Sebastian's mysterious disappearance. Dog says he wants to do his part to bring the boy home and lock up those who may be responsible here. There's a picture of Sebastian. Dog is asking folks to contact his tip line with information on Sebastian's whereabouts or any potential leads. He is hyping up the $100,000 in rewards tied to the case. Sebastian, an autistic teen from Tennessee, has been missing since February 26 when his parents claim he left the family home in Hendersonville in the middle of the night and never came back. So here is Dog's Twitter post with their new flyer and the reward. As we know, and this is the law office that I read a little bit about in the beginning, it continues on and says, search efforts among multiple law enforcement agencies have so far come up empty, and even the FBI has been unable to track down the teen, who is said to have a fascination with water. Sebastian's described as standing 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing 120 pounds, with blonde brown hair and brown or hazel eyes. And then there's a big picture of Dog. Be aware of the dog. Dog's tracked down a ton of folks over the years, including on his reality TV show, and joined the Brian Laundrie manhunt a couple of years ago. So it'll be interesting if he's the key here. Keyword, Brian Laundrie manhunt. Hunting fugitives and finding a missing child are two separate worlds. Sounds like Dog is jumping right into the case saying the hunt is on, let's go. So if this was about finding the missing child, they would have had the 1-800-TBI find number instead of Dog's own number. Again, my opinion, but take it for what it is. So then I got to thinking, I wonder what one of the last things TMZ reported about Dog, considering he's up here in the years. So then I was like, oh, I forgot. Now this is going to be controversial for some of you, and it shouldn't be, but it is. So I went looking.
Hey, Twist.
What do I find? Dog the Bounty Hunter launches homophobic tirade. We don't need no more sissy men. So I was like, okay, well, let's watch this. Making sure you guys can see. This is sensitive conversation. Please be in mind.
For many, many years, these holy rollers have done just that, rolled around. And you see where they've got us now? They've got kids changing their sexuality.
Yep.
They
Come
preach
on.
about tithing more than they do about what's going on.
Yep.
They're so wacko themselves
Mhm.
that where they have brought us all is to the gates of hell.
So this is going to be kind of an interesting rant that he goes on, and some of you guys might not be aware of his extremist views, but I'm going to show you a few of them tonight because I'm actually kind of disappointed that nobody in the true crime arena has actually done some research instead of just fangirling over here over this washed up celebrity bounty hunter.
Is that his daughter?
Like Kyle said, Marjorie Taylor Greene's. No.
Is that his replacement wife?
Yeah.
We have to stop all that, rebuke them. 2 ways to rebuke: in Jesus' name, and then physically.
Get out the way.
Francis-
You like laying hands on people, Doug, and I have a feeling it's not the type of hands we do in the church.
Right. Well,
I've seen your shows.
as Jesus was not
This makes me physically ill.
a sissy.
Like the Catholic?
When
Yeah.
when the garage sale guys were in his father's house,
Ooh.
and those people were really dependent on selling their meat and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long of a whip he had, but he threw over the tables, whooped them all, threw them out. So, and then that poor fig tree, he said he went over there, was a little hungry, and the fig tree didn't have any figs on it. And he said, "Listen, you punk, you'll never grow another fig. I'm hungry." So he was not a sissy man. And so that's what we need is, I heard a preacher say the other day, we don't need no more sissy men. Even Joel Osteen has become a man.
Oh.
So we need men and women that are willing to stand up against evil.
That's
and,
right.
And speak the word of God. Pride Month, was it?
You know, that's my biggest problem with religion and people who claim to be Christians at times is it's supposed to be love thy neighbor. It's supposed to be non-judgmental. It's supposed to be all of that, right? That's what they tell you, at least. It's all about love. It's all about this. It's all about that. This is the last thing that it's supposed to be about.
What month was it? With all the business.
Yeah, it is.
Pride Month.
Y'all are gonna get my Facebook shut down, but it's okay. Y'all, if
Well,
we go down, come bail us out.
Pride cometh before a fall.
Oh,
So now he's got issues with Pride Month. I mean, I'm not sure who's shocked about this.
yes.
If they want to shut us off because quoting the scriptures, I've got a lot of good lawyers. So pride cometh before the
a
fall.
fall.
And
Come
that
on.
doesn't mean you trip. That means they're falling to the right and to the left.
And we just threw in politics.
Target,
Yes.
Belinsky, all these guys that are backing those jokers up are taking billion-dollar beatings. They're falling.
Did he say Zelensky?
I don't know.
Did he say Zelensky? Did I hear that wrong?
That's
Hold
a
on, I got to
big
back
word
that
right
up.
now.
Sorry. I want to see that.
Are taking billion-dollar beatings.
No, got to
They're
go back a little bit. further.
those jokers. All these guys that are
Oh, it says Belinsky on here, but I wonder if it was meant to be Zelensky.
backing those jokers up are taking billion-dollar beatings. They're falling. So I have compassion for
Kind of like Tenant Media out of
That's like
Tennessee tonight.
Yeah, the Tim Pool thing.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting thing to follow, and I'll probably be doing some coverage on that actually.
people that are lost like that.
Agree.
You know,
They need to be saved.
they need to be
And
saved
healed.
and delivered.
Are the comments going sideways yet?
No,
I'm on the other screen, so I can't even see them.
Exactly.
He's drunk. Come get him.
But I still have friends that are that way.
Yeah.
A family member that is that way.
Right.
So
and we love them.
yes, but
Oh,
that-
I'm sure they feel the love.
that's not the way God made us. He
Exactly.
didn't make Adam and Steve. He made Adam and Eve.
Oh, well, there you go. He didn't make, yeah, you heard him.
Was this from like 2003 or when was this?
No, this is from a few months back.
He's still using that.
So that's exactly how it is.
Well, is it then? Is that right? That's what it is, huh? Well, no, sir, it's not. And this is Who's Looking for a Missing Child.
Good point, Pearl.
This is from July 11th, 2023, for anybody asking in the comment section. So then I was like, okay, well, I knew his political leanings were extremist, but I got to looking last night and I was like, oh, well, this isn't a source that I really like, but it's what it is. I'm going to show you something off of this and you can listen to his own words again. So this is from Deadline. You can see the title on your screen. Dog the Bounty Hunter says, you can read it. Everybody can read that. I don't have to tell you about the extremist views. They're right on your screen. This is from September 20th, 2022, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So we're going to go on. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is because if you think about it, BHB has identified she's very extremist. She's a front row Joe. You know what she pushes for political propaganda. She claims she's an activist. She says that JLR was the one to introduce her to the people she met through the Proud Boys. JLR is a front row Joe who is also an extremist in his views. All of these people who involved themselves, Tony aligns with BHB and politically, he's stated publicly. All of these people have very similar political leanings and beliefs, and they're not your typical conservative values or your typical liberal values. These are extremist offshoot groups that have cultivated their own idea of what they believe in. What?
Kendall, is that like satire?
Is Kendall
Anyone
cheering
who
it on?
doesn't know by now the 2020 election was 100% stolen, hasn't been paying attention, to the 68 court cases?
If that's not satire, then if her comment's not satire or like smartass, she's definitely she stumbled on YouTube instead of 4chan.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't know. She got caught up in her tinfoil running around. So anyways, carry on. At the Christian Evangelical Opening of Heavens conference over the weekends, peripatetic reality TV star Dwayne Dog the Bounty Hunter Chapman, whose most recent show was canceled before it ever aired due to allegations of racist and homophobic comments, offered attendees his political assessment of the 2020 election, as well as a strident prediction for the November midterms. What are we right upon? How far away is November? Anybody? Anybody know?
This is an erection year.
It's, yeah. Kendall, the 2020 election was not stolen, for Christ's sakes. Please live in reality. Or leave my comment section because this isn't going to work for you. It's just not. I mean, you can spew.
You don't have to leave.
You can spew all the shit you want to, but that's factually incorrect.
Yeah.
It is like legally incorrect to even be stating those stupid things.
There's people that have already pled guilty here in Arizona for being on alternate slates of electors.
Yeah,
come on, dude.
It is what it is. Okay. Anyways, I'm not even getting off track. The conference bills itself as they're going to have a real hard time when I start covering the Tim Pool and Tenet stuff. People are going to have to hold on to their fucking britches because it's going to be adult conversations about reality versus fiction. Like what is really happening, whether you lean whichever way you are, it's going to be a real conversation. Ugh, people.
Kendall.
The conference bills itself as a multi-day event where the prophetic heart of God and the manifestation of his supernatural power are demonstrated to those in attendance. Allegedly, in that spirit, Chapman said he asked God, "Why did you let that freak steal the election?" He said he got his answer in the parable of Jesus healing a blind man to manifest the power of God. Chapman then related the biblical story of the 2020 election in midterms. Okay, let me switch screens here. Don't even give them attention. That's what they want.
No,
You know how these people work, babe.
No. It's not. It's nobody in the comments. It's the fact that people use religion like this.
Oh yeah.
To twist
Yeah.
people is just gross.
It's through true crime now. Now it's made its way fully into the true crime arena. It's made its way. So now I'm going to take you to one of his speeches from that event.
So I'm praying, Lord, why have you led us in this way? Why did you let that freak steal the election? Why did you do this? And once I tell you why, you're going to agree with me. The Lord took me to the Bible, and Jesus' disciples came up to him and said, God,
Don't forget there's
Jesus, why was this man born blind? Was it the sins of his father and his mother that made him blind? And Jesus said, no, that's not why this bad thing happened.
Oh, he looks wonderful. I think his Botox is failing him.
Reason this bad thing happened,
I wonder if Betty's snake boots match his snake jacket.
Is that to show God's manifestation. There's nothing we.
Oh my God, look at that crowd. That is, oh. Everybody take a look at that crowd right quick for a second. What do you see? We could play Where's Waldo.
I see diversity.
Yeah. Do you have sunglasses?
I see a lot of accepting.
Yeah, that's not what I'm seeing. I'm not sure exactly where this was hosted, but it feels like we just went back to the 1980s from looking at that crowd.
We could have done about it. Not at all. Yeah, he stole it, because now, little Hitler, we are going to show you God's manifestation.
Oh, so for those saying, Becky, you're a liberal. You have problems because you're a liberal and that's what it is. No, I'm a realist, actually. I just don't like
One Christian
false
Democrat.
prophets and bullshit like
We
this.
both used to be
Extremely conservative. Yeah, true story on that. That is a true story. Oh, he's got another nice suit
there's no
on.
D at the end of stole. Fucking dumbass.
Okay, here we go. Here's another little. Must have been day 2. He switched up outfits. Look at the trumpets.
Wait till November when the Republican Party, I think I met one Christian Democrat. Have you?
Oh, of course. There couldn't be Christians that were liberals, could there? What?
When the Republican Party wipes them out. Wait till November. Wait till November. I don't care how many ballot boxes there are. I don't care how they try to cheat. Wait till you see what happens. I told you this morning, little Hitler, and if you'll remember, Hitler committed suicide.
Anybody got questions here? You think you kind of understand?
I bet the parents are glad they took their kids to church that day.
Hitler, you know why? Because he was caught. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to catch these cheaters. And I'm not saying with my mouth or my tongue that he's going to commit suicide, but you never know.
Jesus Christ.
Well, isn't that quite interesting? And this is the man out here looking for a missing child and getting attention off a missing child. So, and we're questioning why he's aligned himself with who he has. and why he might be looking for some attention in the media. This isn't about who you want for a president. This is called This Man Has Personal Motives, in my opinion, and is using a missing child. We are a couple months away from a new election. The characters always come out of the woodwork because the crazier they act, the more attention they get. They can make a ton of money off of being completely crazy and charismatic. They insert themselves in things like this to push propaganda and rhetoric. This time, unfortunately, they found a biologic father that has very similar belief systems and have aligned themselves to weaponize his emotion and his grief for their own personal agendas.
Good point, bro.
And he, in my opinion, is willing because he aligns with these people. You know, they believe that they're doing the right thing. That's the constant heroic, like they're all in it for these self-serving things. And we're going to go into this further tomorrow because I'm going to take you into a deeper look at some of the back connections to this.
Kendall, you really should try different sources.
Kendall's still here?
Try different sources on information where you're getting your information for the
Janice, he probably does have a MyPillow, you know. Mike, my buddy over there with the horrible toupee, I swear to God, that guy just looks like he has a matted dog on his head.
like a bag of potatoes.
That's Betty's buddy. I wonder if she ever tried his MLM scam that he had. We're going to go further with this, though, because I can tie it to a lot more things that people don't want to understand. That's why it's really important for these people to have alternative media sites. That's why they will align themselves with felons. As you know, he spent time in prison back in the 80s, I think. I could be off. I think it was in the 80s. He served time in prison for, I want to say it was murder, but I need to pull that article again and read it again. I have all that for tomorrow. But then I want to take this a little bit further too. We're going to talk about Nick the Hat, his political alignments. We're going to even talk about their attorney, some of the companies that they're connected to, what those companies are connected to, and kind of look a little bit further under the hood of all of this. Because unfortunately, at the end of the day, there is a missing child. And now we have more unethical characters with self-serving motives, in my opinion, with some extremely problematic ideology, in my opinion. Once again, dangerous is how I truly feel. Interjecting themselves. But I want to talk about Molly for a minute because I have been editing a video on Molly. And this clip that I'm about to play will be in the upcoming video of Molly, but I want to play it for you guys tonight because so many of you are new to Molly, which is shocking to me because when I came on the internet, it seemed like everybody knew who she was because she was so problematic. And thankfully it was because I was surrounded by the people who knew who she was. So they gave me history lessons. So now I feel like returning the favor is kind of necessary. It won't be a thing over here, but she absolutely needs covered. Oh, Pearl.
See, Kendall.
That's amazing.
Kendall, QAnon is not a thing. It's really not.
Wait, is somebody in here talking about Q?
She's talking about the
Don't let her go there.
The things of it.
Yeah, they're trying. It's just like Pizzagate doesn't even have a basement, but here we are. So anyways, like people have just lost their fucking touch with reality, and it's.
You need to Google Jonestown. Give that a gander. See how that turned out.
See how that feels. Read Project 2025.
Figure out why these people were following somebody like that. You know,
Yeah.
maybe it'll help you break down the walls a little bit.
Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go even further. Some of these news sites were used to push off false information in previous cases out here, which is really scary. And those those sites link JLR, Nick.
Yep, Waco was a big one.
There's a bunch of things that link together with all these people, and it's really scary that there's a 15-year-old missing child that's being overshadowed by all of this chaos. And at this point in time, like, I'd be afraid that somebody did call one of their tip lines and have access or information on his whereabouts, and these people would be I actually, this worries me, truly. Yeah, but Sheila, they will argue about how it was only civilly liable. Like, it's still hard for me, and I'm sorry for anybody that likes Trump, loves Trump, and is in the true crime arena that stands against sexual assault, that they can fucking juggle that and question how we can say that he's civilly liable of that. He was found guilty of
only reason
that.
It wasn't criminal because it was beyond the statute of limitations.
Yeah, which there should be no statute of limitations on SA, period. But
like Jay was saying, if you found out, if you were looking at a resume for a babysitter for your kids and it said civilly liable for sexual assault, but not criminally, would you want those anywhere around your kids?
Yeah, it's just, it stuns me to see so many people defend that and constantly do.
Sex in common with his daughter. Yeah.
Like, it's just really hard for me to like understand how people can overlook this and then stand for sexual assault victims. Like, the two things don't correlate to me. And I'm sorry if you like Trump and you can somehow, like, that's a you thing. Again, these are personal choices that some of you have to make. But if you stand for sexual assault victims, it's across the board. It's not, he was found civilly guilty, civilly liable of this. And I'm not trying to harp on your political choices, but then to see you people turn around and be like, I stand with SA victims. No, you really don't. You really don't. And this is like, he was a celebrity. They've opened the arena to people like The Apprentice saying you're fired can become he doesn't have intellect. I mean, he's a stunning, in my opinion, con man. But what we try to teach our children, at least we try to teach our children, is a good leader is somebody that actually has qualification. I don't know. I could go on a whole rant about this because it's mind blowing to me that people have created this falsehood in their heads over this one orange man. Like, it really bothers me. It's just truly mind blowing. And it's hard for me in this arena, especially because all these people claim that some of these people have claimed that they came from politics. Some of them inlay their political bullshit and then claim that they're looking for missing children. They're using missing children to elevate their platforms to push more rhetoric and propaganda. That's what's happening. And they're profiting off of people's pain, just like politicians do. I mean, truly. They profit off the marginalized all the time. All of profit off pain. Like, it's fucked up. It's what it is, though.
You know, he's not.
That's your cue. That's probably, if you're a cue. Yeah, Mona Lisa. I think if I remember correctly, we disagree on a lot of political stuff, which is totally cool. But it is what it is. Like, I can't sit here and overlook reality just to sugarcoat shit for people.
You know, he's not the first one to ever call out fake
truth. You know what? There should be an age cap. Truthfully, there should be an age cap. It should be what it is. That should be across the board, though. Yeah. Yeah, truth. Agree. On, like, I was so glad when Biden did bow out, just because they're too old, man. These guys are too old. They should be living out their retirement. Like, but then I look at our Supreme Court and I'm like, Jesus, there's that too. Like, it all needs to be redone. Okay. So
it's just like I told Kenzie. She had Trump flags everywhere. And I told her I took her to vote for her very first time. And I was proud to do it. And I told her I didn't care who you vote for as long as you're voting on facts.
Yeah.
And she used primary sources and she got the facts and she made up her own decision.
Yeah. It's just wild, though. It's so wild to see people completely bypass all of this, to completely like throw caution to the wind and be like, yeah, this man is a hero of what? Of what is this man? Like, what is he bringing to this case? Can anybody give me positive anything besides like publicity? But even that, it's about him versus the missing child. If they're being nasty, Terry, let him be. Fuck yeah. I think all politicians, well, not all. I think a lot of politicians start with the intent of wanting to make change. And then I think because of how our government has ran and how it's operated from the fucking 80s, that in order to get somewhere, you sell out parts of yourself to get other pieces of what you want. Like there's bargaining. And it seems like it just fucking people sell themselves out. I don't know. It just,
I want President Camacho.
it's truly sad. It's fucked up though. It's been this way. Our system's been broken for so fucking long. And I'm not saying that it's an easy fix. That's why I'm trying to get people to understand, like, this is now infiltrating, no matter how you feel about this. He is also, and I'll show some of that tomorrow, had all of these crazy tangents on the border and the illegal invasion and stuff. And what his thoughts were on that were completely throwing out any rational thinking that the bills that were introduced that were blocked would have been a way of fixing something. It would have been a step in the right direction. And they blocked anything. And now they're like, look at this. There's a problem. Yeah, things have to change in progress.
Robin Williams said it the best when he said that politicians need to wear like NASCAR style jackets so all of their donors can be on their jackets for everyone to see.
Yeah, where their money comes from.
We need to get money out of government. That's the problem.
And we need to stop with the two-party.
Yeah.
I hate the two-party
Ranked
system.
choice voting is what we need to go for.
No, I will. I would never, ever. No, I'm not intelligent enough. Well, I guess look who we've had, and yeah, I guess anybody,
I would never
a fucking shoe could be president if we've had what we've had. So never mind. Anything's possible. It's 2024.
That's way too much for me. I would not want to do that.
Aries, I just want to say publicly, I'm really sorry what happened to you for you being in my chat. You didn't deserve that at all. I didn't know that happened until today. And I'm truly sorry that that happened to you and you were singled out like that, because you've been nothing but kind and respectful and usually leave before the conversation even gets south on that. And you've never, ever said anything even remotely negative in any direction. And I've never expected you to. In fact, me and you kind of had a little right in the first, and you've always been kind and respectful. So I just wanted to apologize again that you got caught up in that and personally impacted by that. It's truly what it is. So I want to also venture into a little bit with some of the other topic that I dropped today too. And I appreciate all of you that have been here for this conversation and willing to even partake. Like, people are allowed to have your strong opinions on either side. Who you vote for is your personal choice. It's like a religion. You are free to have your thoughts and opinions, but when those thoughts and opinions start impacting the rights and our entire country and things that we're watching directly fall apart in our country because of a lot of this extremist belief system, this is not conservative values. These people do not hold typical conservative values, and I want to emphasize that, because I feel like my friends that identify as conservative always like want to duck when I talk, because this isn't them. This is not belief systems that they hold. They believe in sexual assault should not be elevated. They do not believe in any of this shit. They believe that you can love whoever you want to, like, and they still have conservative beliefs. So this is a complete offshoot of those people, but the most, in my opinion, dangerous. And they use these alternative media sources to spread propaganda and misinformation. That's why there was a links to those. any way, anything to get their names out there. And all of them are self-serving. Every single one. One of Tim Ballard's victims was actually found guilty in Colombia of pimping because during one of their first raids, she was present after they created a Facebook post and created a sense of trafficking. She was a Colombian resident. She was not this beauty queen that they touted her to be, but she was there during a conversation. And because she spoke during that conversation, she was found guilty of pimping in Colombia, where the government is so corrupt and can be bought off, in my opinion.
Pearl, another good point.
But these people with power and money get away with so many corrupt, sideways things. We don't need that interjected into missing children. We already have a huge population of people who believe that trafficking looks like what The Sound of Freedom made it out to be. That is not the reality. They created trafficking in a lot of these countries for B-roll footage. It is what it is. It's super sad. It's sad situations because trafficking is a problem, but it needs to be talked about realistically. And people like this, from low level to all the way up, are using missing children now, missing children's cases to get attention and seek relevancy. Molly, let's talk about her. And let me play this clip. This won't be shocking to my OGs in here at all, to say the least.
It's so hot out here.
It is so freaking hot. All right, hold on. I appreciate you guys that can handle this hard conversation. It shouldn't be hard. Like it kind of makes me giggle because it's not a hard conversation to have respectfully. It's not a hard conversation to disagree on at times. There's always going to be things that we see differently in certain wheelhouses like that. That's fine. But the crazy conspiracy theories that are not even like, I'm okay with conspiracy theories, but some of this just gets to be over the top. And then when you mix religion in with it too, and these people who continue to say there's only two genders, what about intersex people? There's a whole population, I think it's like 3%. I have to look up the statistics tomorrow, that are intersex, meaning born with chromosomes that are different. And there's a whole population of people like that too. And Christians push this, love thy neighbor, love this, like, and yet hate everybody that's not just like them. It pisses me off.
If anybody's interested in a good news source, it's called Ground. You know, like Go Touch the Ground News. You can go to David Pakman and you can get a deal for Ground News, but they show you everything and which parts are being hidden by which news sources.
I understand it's not a gender, but it brings into question, they're discounted in the whole thing too. That's what I'm saying, Layla. Like, they are shit on because of this conversation. Sorry, I'm not trying to identify it as a gender. That's not what I'm saying. But there are other people that fall into that people are unwilling to even attempt to understand, they're unwilling to even open their minds to science, to things happening. And there's also a bunch of people that seem to have a lot of problems with what other people do in their privacy of their own homes and their bedrooms and who they choose to love.
Yes.
And that's fucked up to me.
Yes. People, David Pakman.
We love David Pakman.
A great source of information. He uses primary sources for everything that he talks about. He is a progressive, but he's not. He's more factual than anything.
If you're
else.
coming in here with crazy conspiracies, you're gonna be timed out. If you're spewing bullshit, you will get timed out. I don't know who's timing people out. I don't care. I trust my mods. I don't know what's going on, but I trust that they are. If you're not spreading crazy bullshit that's just factually incorrect, you're allowed to have a conversation. But if you're pushing like Pizzagate shit, yeah, you're probably going to get timed out. I don't know who's timing you out there, or if you're just being disrespectful to other people. I have no idea.
Yeah, I like the Midas Touch. They do some pretty good work. Those are some smart brothers.
Yeah, Midas Touch is
really,
very
really
good.
Smart guys.
I like a lot of their stuff. Okay, hold on. I keep All right. So Molly Golightly, as many of you know, and I'm going to go further into it tomorrow, or when I drop this pre-recorded video, is doing shit like calling Chris Proudfoot. Now, I'm assuming she got his phone number. I can't confirm this, but just common sense rationale and previous history would be that she got it from Justin, who probably got it from his mom at ICU, because they've had all of their background and everything and all their numbers and stuff. I wouldn't doubt that they've probably been texting and harassing them at one point in time throughout this whole course of time. They've all worked together closely for quite some time. And what are your news sources, babe? What did you just say?
David Packman, Midas Touch.
He just said
ground.
Oh, did you hear him?
Ground news.
Did you hear the ones, KB, he was saying? David Packman. Who else? Ground news.
Midas Touch.
Midas Touch, he likes.
Ground news.
He likes a lot of.
Associated Press.
Yeah. He watches a lot of stuff. Okay, so back to Molly. Molly is ban evading for anybody that's new here. She's on a children's life coaching channel. A children's life coaching. Oh, I'm really sorry about that. Truth exposed. I'm really sorry about the loss of your father.
Oh, shit.
No, that's not what he said. What did you say? News? What was the other one?
Ground news?
Ground. Ground. Ground.
Yeah, no, not brown news. We don't want
Not
that.
brown news. Ground. Ground. Yeah, he watches it all, though. He watches everything.
There's a couple.
If this conversation is hard for you, please check the fuck out, because I'm not afraid to have these conversations. And if it makes you uncomfortable, please leave.
There's a couple people on TikTok that I watch sometimes during the day, and there's some really educated people that have debates, and I like hearing both sides, what both sides have to talk about. So
I'm gonna ruffle feathers, because I'm not gonna sit by and just act like this is all hunky dory. Like, this is a missing child, and if we want to talk about the reality of what is fucking happening, then we're gonna talk about the real fucking reality of how dangerous this is. Because Betty is pushing propaganda, Molly is pushing propaganda. There's a video from just in May where Molly is apologizing to BHB. Molly is apologizing to BHB, and what she had originally been mad at BHB was over her potential alignment with Cher, who I have the whole thing. I'll show it all in the upcoming pre-record. But she was pissed because she thought Betty was aligning with Cher after what Cher did in Georgia, completely forgetting what they did in Georgia. So stupid. But she goes on this whole rant about, Cher was this horrible person. So she apologizes to Betty in May. And then we want to think that she's not channel building with her fight with Betty. Of course, what's going to get you some views? And interject yourself in a fight with Betty and JLR. Like, why not? People are going to watch because they think it's so entertaining. Meanwhile, she just apologized to the woman, and now she was backtracking all over hell today after calling Chris Proudfoot, because her and Betty a link. They were at one point in time, and could have fooled me, just buddies. In fact, it was just months ago, maybe a year ago at max. I have that clip too, that she was, I'll play that tonight too, that she was bragging about suing people. And she said that BHB and JLR could establish residency in Pennsylvania if they needed to. So now we're supposed to believe that they have this big fallout, and this isn't all just for whatever. But she's calling and, going on to Chris Proudfoot last night. And some people are new to her and think that this all is so great because she's anti-Betty. They think the hate bonding over Betty is something cool. And they're like, oh, this person's amazing. She don't like any of them. No, she's posturing for clicks and views on a children's life coaching channel. And when people intimidate this bitch, she at one time had 90,000 subs, and she's as thin-spined as anything. She does the same rants. She goes off and tells everybody you're ugly and you're this and you're beneath her and you don't have as many purses and your closet isn't as big and your husband isn't as weaselly and shit like that. She does the whole like posturing, puffing her chest thing. It's the same fucking rant the same hollering at the screen that she does to everybody that goes up against her. She's a fucking clown, and she's dangerous to victims and their children. They spam called Dre when they found out about that whole thing. They call her on the phone over and over and over again, leave messages. They did it all. And this isn't the first, but this is the type of shit that she'll say after she's caught with her pants down and she wants to try and intimidate somebody. So she calls the parents of a missing child, cusses them out, and then she goes on this whole thing of, how did he know who I was? I don't think he fucking did. He didn't ever say he did. But she just likes to inflate her own ego. But this is Molly Golightly. This is who she is. And you tell me that this is what parents of a missing child should be dealing with?
Let me tell you something. Adrian, like his fucking men have said, he's ruthless.
Can you hear that? That just got loud as fuck out here. Can you guys hear that? Oh, little Weasley Adrian. And if you want proof of her like asking for people's information, I can show you that too in 2 seconds. I will be showing some of that in a video. Actually, Karma, we're going to finish up with the Rusic's interview and message because I think it's a good one to replay. You can't hear that? Okay. Hold on. It's loud.
When those fucking terrorists in Iraq shot them all up and they weren't fully dead, guess what?
Did you hear that sound effect? She made that sound effect.
That's Adrian. Wow. Yeah. That's what they meant by ruthless. Wow. Yep. My cute little husband with his little Harry Potter glasses and his little cute ties. And the yes, dear. He's trained. He's a trained killer.
She claims that her husband's a trained. You just heard. You heard what she said.
You think I have any control over what's going in his mind? All right, you want to party with him? Go ahead. You think you're going to outsmart him? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, if you are so inclined to believe that is true, then that's one thing. But even though we know there's a different reality here, very likely, she is also trying to threaten and intimidate the parents of a missing child who have not been convicted of any crimes. Meanwhile, talks like this, we don't know what he's capable of. So we're supposed to just believe that this deranged lunatic who brags about her husband being like this is safe for families of missing children when she treats them like she did last night.
Wow.
I mean, the most he's got a pocket pencil, I'm sure.
It's awful. It's just awful. I don't care. I'm the one that put my mother's thing out there. I know what kind of pieces of shit these people are. It doesn't bother me. Doesn't give them right. Like my mama always told me, vengeance is the Lord's. And just remember, people, my mom's up there watching down on all you. Absolutely. And I'm her fucking daughter. Absolutely. Yep. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Yeah. Yeah. No, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll tell you what. A lot of people are going to be very surprised at what they find out. Inside time.
Inside time. That's truly always her thing, you know. Oh, one day you'll find out. Okay, let me go back here. Let me remind you guys. It wasn't long ago that she was joining panels and saying stuff like this. I think this was after or right before or right after the lawsuit BHB filed on Queen Bee.
Well, state, and so is Dolly Vision.
Truth exposed. That's
I
cool.
agree. Yeah, we're in Commonwealth state, so it's going to be a lot easier for us.
For those of you that haven't seen, like, if you don't know who Molly Golightly is and her little Weasley husband, Adrian, there's a wife swap episode that shows a really good overview.
Right, Thor?
But I know that I'm not going to be raising any funds for it. But I am going to, anybody that wants to help me out, you can send me links and timestamps.
Pearl, that's actually fucking scary to think about too. It really is.
Oh,
here, let me go back. Let me go back to where she joins.
There's looks when I seen a pic of Julie. Yeah. Oh, okay. So let's talk about this.
Her audio sucks when she comes up. It's not mine. It's going to be hers.
Hey, I'm at a walk. I'm actually going to talk to Adrian. I think I'm gonna. I heard that,
So she starts off saying she thinks she's going to talk to Adrian.
Filing suit against someone.
Talking about filing suit against someone.
Yes. What? I'm gonna jump as well. Who's filing suit?
She thinks she's going to jump on as well.
I'll talk to you about it. Oh, okay. I will not be doing any sort of fundraiser at all for my legal at all.
She won't be doing any type of fundraiser for her legal fees, is what she was claiming.
This way, I don't have to owe any money back to anybody. Right. What I think is very foolish is that she's collecting money before she's even getting a bill. That is incredibly stupid and it's incredibly irresponsible. Yeah, held responsible for that money. I do have an attorney here. The thing is what she hasn't anticipated is that I'm in a Commonwealth state, and so is Dolly Vision. Right. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're in Commonwealth state, so it's going to be a lot easier for us. But I know that I'm not going to be raising any funds for it, but I am going to.
So she's talking about jumping on a lawsuit. She's not going to be raising any funds. Nope, this is from when she jumped on with a channel named Jilly Bean.
Anybody that wants to help me out, you can send me links and timestamps to her streams. If I could get some help on that. Absolutely. Then I'm going to ask my Patreons for that. And it should take about a week or so. And then we're going to be sending a letter. I'm going to talk to Adrian about it. Yeah.
She keeps saying she's going to talk to Adrian about it.
She's not going to be able to beat Adrian. She's not going to be able to beat me or Adrian. So I have a lawyer, but we won't use one.
She has a lawyer, but they weren't going to use one.
Someone needs to teach her a lesson, somebody. Oh, Dolly, the thing is with Dolly, he's in a Commonwealth state. He's in Virginia. I'm in Pennsylvania. And her lawyer is going to have to, say, because I already told Andra and Jonathan, I said, Andra, if you want to establish residency here in Pennsylvania.
Andra, if you want to establish residency here in Pennsylvania.
By all means, we're fine with that.
By all means, we're fine with that.
Help her out. All this girl has asked is stop. Just stop. Instead of and stop.
All BHB has asked for is for people to stop.
Everybody else is paying for it. So this is a total setup. And she's almost signing her own death certificate. She's signing her own. Yep. But yeah, anybody would like to help me out because I'm not going to do it myself. Send me where the
She wanted everybody to send her links with timestamps, of course.
You can send me 60. I'm hoping to get 60 links.
She wanted 60 links to different videos. This was talking about, I think this is when the Queen Bee lawsuit started.
Of her footage where she's her and because she's responsible for her channel. Absolutely, she is. So yeah, I'm gonna head on in and I'm actually texting with Andrew and Jonathan right now.
She was actually texting with Andrew and Jonathan right then.
Told them I got off the phone with Adrian just now.
She just got off the phone with Adrian. You said you were going to talk to him, and now it's I just got off the phone with him. That's how fast Molly forgets what she said 5 seconds later.
And we just talked about it. And Adrian said, let's go. He was like the fact that she
Pearl. Yep.
Still raising money. He goes, oh, she's done. She's done. I was like,
since she was going to talk to Adrian later, multiple times she mentioned in the beginning of that clip, and then she said she just got off the phone with him, and then Adrian said they're done. You mean the ping pong show was done?
She was like, instead of just stopping, she wants to keep going. Gotcha. So anybody wants to help me, please send me the links. And please, even if you're recording her talking about me, I'm okay with that too. But I prefer the actual links to the entire.
And now she sits on her channel and, you know, mocks BHB and wants us all to believe that they're not all connected. Still bullshit. Sorry. No matter if they're fighting right now or not, they're all still connected. They're all still doing the same shit. They're all still using the same playbook. They just swap players. It's
Hey, NorCal Jim.
some swap spits, some swap positions in Chili's parking lots. I mean, it is what it is.
Wait, what? I wasn't paying attention.
You don't understand what that reference is anyways.
Nope.
Crazy though. Crazy to see it fully come full circle. And now, of course, she's talking shit on Clue when they're actually a lot similar. Truly. It's kind of funny because Clue's got numbers. So she'll talk about Clue in hopes that Clue talks about her. Molly's own words, as long as people are talking about me, I'm good. It's when people stop talking about you that you need to worry. She knows how this game works. Everybody knows that she knows what she's doing. She's interjected herself in this, and she's going to do whatever she can to make a splash, calling Chris Proudfoot, making herself known, and then throwing this big fit and acting like she's the almighty.
Thanks, NorCal Jim. I never heard of him. I'm going to check him out now.
NorCal Jim, did you hear Kyle? Hopefully you guys can. Hey, Devious. Yeah, keep it moving. You know, and I went back and I saw Smiles. I think they are. I think they are. I don't think they're far removed from it. These people are all still connected. And if you look at it, like she's connected to JLR, no matter what, if her and Betty are fighting right now, she's connected to JLR. She's always rode with JLR because JLR's got the money or the numbers, which equivalates to money for Molly. Like that's how she sees it. Sorry. I think his motivation is multiple fold, but money is the last one for him. I know it was Smiles, but I wanted to explain this a little bit further, but I really think that then Betty talks shit about Nick because he's associated with JLR, but Nick is associated with Dog the Bounty Hunter, who's associated now with Tony and Seth, and that she's part of their team. Like it's all just a shit show of fucking epic proportions, truly. Yep, Amber, it truly is. Like, but Spanky, I went back. So many people argue with me about Spanky all the time. Spanky is Clutch Those Pearls, Justin for All, Sweet Tea. He is one of the grimiest, and I went back and I found this video because he said, I don't know if any of you missed it or not, but he claimed the other night he didn't know who I was. Well, first and foremost, Spanky, hold on. Let me play that clip right quick, too. Because some of you guys are just fucking bad at even lying anymore. Like, Spanky, do you forget when Molly tried calling you because she needed you to back her up when people were accusing her of a CPS call? Did you forget about that? And you wouldn't answer the phone, but instead you did this, and she had a fucking epic meltdown over it?
But he's asking me, did you call CPS on? Oh, Justin doesn't want to be involved, but he's asking me, did you call CPS on nonsense? Did you call?
Spanky, I thought you didn't know who I was, but over 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, you asked Molly in a text if she called CPS on me. You wouldn't take her phone call, but you texted her back. You knew exactly who I was. You've known who I was all along because I've been spot on about your grimy little fucking tactics. Your mod ICU passed around my fucking information. Your mod ICU has been digging into the parents and the families. It's one thing what you guys try to do to me, but it's a whole other fucking ball game what you guys do to these parents. And there's a history. You were the one to announce that they had found Quentin's remains when they hadn't. You were the one that attempted to unblur photos of Kylie Rodney. You were the one that doxed Jared Lysick's victim down to her social security number and read out her minor. She was a minor when this had occurred, her statements. You were the one that announced that Marvon McRae had passed away off a $2 super chat that you and Molly had concocted the night before and needed a source to verify it. So SMBC 13 comes out with a fake article the following day, and one of your little buddies by the name of Jill sends you a $2 super sticker with that attached, You pin the comment, say it's been confirmed by SNBC 13. Molly goes and runs over and announces it on Bullhorn Betty's live outside of Quentin Simon's house. That was all you. You were the one that helped hunt Jose down in the Summer Wells case. Shall I go on? You did all of that, and we've got proof of every bit of it. You had an apology video up when you doxed the SA victim. You took that down very fast. You were the one that when Molly got canceled off this app for a transphobic rant, that you stuck up for her and then claim that you're a part of those communities. You've gone after people in your own community to stick up for other horrifying tragedy pimps. That was all you, Spanky. Every bit of what I just said was you. And you want to claim you don't know who I was? Fuck out of here, because I'm going to give you a refresher of who the fuck I am and who the fuck you are. You exploiting piece of fucking human garbage.
Did you call CPS nonsense? Did you call?
They absolutely faked Marvon's death and announced it to Marvon's family and emotionally toyed with them. But meanwhile, claimed that we did all these things to Letitia. No, we didn't. No, we never did. I didn't even fuck with Letitia like that. Letitia and I had a fine conversation. I have text messages of them pressuring Letitia to come on a show for them when she didn't feel up to it. They just really want to hear from you. She was having a rough day and they put pressure on her.
Jim, good point. Bo is awesome.
Anything else you want me to say, Spanky? Next time you want to say you don't know who I am and you just found out about me a couple days ago. And by the way, on another note, if you don't see who's all grouped up together, when BJ and people are like, nonsense, don't let this personal shit get to you. It's a little bit deeper than just what its surface level seems like. Because BJ has associated herself with my stalker, in my opinion, who is by the name of Veda Jade. She admitted the other day, she's been telling you guys that she hasn't talked to Veda Jade. She said that the other day, I don't talk to her. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never done all of that. I don't do that. And then she says the other day, she's talked to her thousands of times. I pointed that out. I have connections of Veda Jade being connected directly to Molly in Patreon posts where Molly calls Veda her friend. I have Patreon posts of Molly asking for my private information before I was doxxed and after I was doxxed to give to her husband so he could tear into me and get all of my information. I'm a fellow creator on this app who just used their own words to highlight what they were doing. Can you imagine being the families of the victims going through their worst moments and that happening to you? So when you look at this and say, oh, it's just drama with BJ, no, it's a little bit deeper than that. She's aligned herself with the very people that have tried to go at Kyle's business, who put Kyle's business and pinned all that information to 90,000 people, my full legal name to 90,000 people. She's aligned herself with the very person, Veda Jade, who has a Rolodex and index card of all of my personal information and proudly brags about that. And by the way, Veda Jade also proudly brags about putting trackers on emails. I have all this too. If you want me to show it again, I absolutely can. Brags about putting trackers on emails. They fabricated an email address of my own. And you want me to think, you want to just say this is all drama right now while all of these people are moving around. BJ's been over in Molly's begging for attention from Molly. Well, Molly has been going sideways at Cher, who BJ claims she loves so much. It's like all of the trash is swarming in a circle. So when you think that this is just drama, no, it's a little bit more than that for me with some of these people. But I can still, it's one thing for what they've done to me. It's a whole other situation of what they do to the families and the victims. They have rights. We all have rights. He sure as hell did, Moxie.
When I call you, great, Justin. Real nice, Justin. Real nice. Did you call CPS? What do you think? What? Justin?
Yeah, why would you even say that you don't know who I am, Justin? When that happened a long time ago, the very person that actually initially doxed me, but it's Penelope, who Penelope was associated with that group from Jump too. So next time you wonder how they're getting information, they're the dirty doxers behind the scenes of anybody that criticizes them. You have BJ over there begging for attention, asking Justin to get her in contact with Molly as they're all simping for that. Veda Jade over there hiding under alts. Yeah, bitch, we see you. And you wonder why they're all swarming around. Need I say more? So when people want to concern me with all this other shit that's popping off and have sideways thoughts about me not popping off on this or that, sorry, I got a lot going on right now. There's a lot of people that are around right now that just make me a little uncomfortable, especially for victims and their families. There are so many people I've been trying to keep up on some of those psychics. And Don B, what the fuck is that old dude doing? That guy's a fucking clown. I talked to the FBI. The FBI ain't going to tell you shit, sir. The fuck? He's another Smiley. He's like the male version of Smiley. Oh, they did Smiles. The same things, the same exact things. And I'm so sick of hearing people say, Molly never said that she harmed her husband. She said it not once, but multiple times, actually. There's that. It's the same thing. They spam called her. They harassed her. They got her number. They doxed her. They had somebody keeping her under surveillance. I have all of that too. Oh, actually, hold on. I think I've got one of those handy really right here too. They kept her under surveillance. So Spanky, next time you want to fucking lie about me, remember I come with receipts, you piece of fucking garbage. Oh, right here. Here you go.
Somebody said, oh, you know.
And I can walk it.
Oh, thank you, Nicole. You only want the truth? I'll tell you the truth. For days, I have known where Andrea McCrae is.
Oh. Keeping victims and their families under surveillance seems like a tactic that is used quite often on these people.
A couple of us knew her exact location. But this morning, right, she was on that docket.
Justice, thank you so much. Justice. Thank you for being here with us. I really appreciate that.
Show you.
What up, Captain Kurt?
Superior Court docket, right? You press that, and somebody has said, oh, Andrea McCrae's not on there.
That's when they were trying to tell everybody that there was fake court documents filed when nothing was ever filed in the court. Nothing ever went to court. There was no court filings. There was nothing. The only thing that they had at any point in time was some stuff with custody things with the minor children. They kept her under surveillance. They still fuck with her. Still to this day. She was cleared after an extensive investigation. She was completely cleared. She was dog whistling to her subs today to get CPS back involved in that situation too. Marvon passed away. Like, let them move on. Let the people in their lives heal. Let them heal and move on. But I want to end it with this tonight. That's exactly right, Captain Kurt. And going back to crisis actors, how many in here know the story of what she did in Vegas? I might need mobs to tell you guys that story. Anybody remember? Oh, some of you guys were around for that. I wasn't. That was before my time. But she was in I think a CVS parking lot and pretended that there was going to be a mass event. Especially for children. Yeah, this is a children's life coach. And then you have one claiming she's an activist and an advocate over there, BHB. Fucking, there's the lawyer mystery Maven, hands down. I have so much respect for lawyer mystery Maven. So much respect for that woman. That's an advocate. That is the only advocate that I can really say yes, 100%. Like, yes. Never once been let down by her whatsoever. She is amazing in what she talks about, how she goes about it. Yeah, Nini, I've heard the stories, but I don't know all the ins and outs, but she's done shit like this for attention for how long? Hey, Katie, get some rest. Yeah, Exactly, CK. And he likes ping pong shows. We know that too. She's talked about that. I remember my reaction to that, and I've talked about it ever since because I was like, do you guys realize that they just admitted to going out of country and going to the ping pong shows? Like, people are like, what's a ping pong show? Do you really need that explanation?
We live
No.
in Arizona, though. That's like a Wednesday night.
Whatever. It's crazy. It's fucking wild to me. Yeah, I have so much respect for her. So much respect for her. Okay. I want to finish with this one though tonight because I think it's fitting. And we'll talk about this more in depthly.
She was a psychopath.
Yeah, she was on Wife Swap. Yep. She was, yes, big juicy. She was also on an episode of Cops out of Vegas.
Of course.
She was also an undercover escort by the name of Kate on a show too. I listened today to some of our Never Have I Ever MGL edition. Oh my gosh, I was laughing. Mobs had me cracking up because she was just rolling off like so many different things. Yeah, her name was Big Juicy. And Kate. Oh, there's a lot. Like, we've talked about a lot of these things. Really good history channels on Molly would be shit, who's got their videos up still? Hartley. Fuck, I'm gonna stumble. Kool-Aid, but that's more recent stuff. Mobs has a lot. Mobs did an impression one time that was fucking epic. Oh yeah, her arrest in New Orleans. Anybody that you guys can think of, good night, Wolfie. Anybody that you guys can think of that's a good channel that's covered Molly in depthly over the years, like has a good Wendy V, I'm sure, but I don't know if she has like historical Molly videos posted. From like the other side.
It's Nolans.
Whatever. Leave my enunciation alone.
No.
All right, you guys, I'm going to end with this. So this is a longer clip, but I want you to hear from Shanann's family.
Thanks, Beth. We'll make sure and watch that.
Yeah, Bobby, and I need to apologize to you guys too. I'm sorry that I didn't give like a preface to why this drama with this shit is really popping off lately. But there's like two things that are at work too. You have another creator that has an ex-mod that had some issues with other people. Just so everybody is clear here too, like that's not odd. What happened with the whole SW situation in BJ and how that got so dramatic and people were like, holy shit, what the fuck happened? That had been brewing since April. For those of you that don't know, that the first time Chico and Pika got wrenches over here was like April 5th or 6th. I actually talk about it in the live stream I was doing on April 6th when I reviewed Britney. And that was like the first 5 times I had reviewed Britney. And I was still being like pretty gloves on with her and just pointing out misinformation, hoping that she would wake up. Well, the email from her mod to the other creator was the 7th of April. They announced the other day when they were doing that. So as soon as I gave Chico a wrench, they ran to where Chico to Rabbit. They ran to Rabbit the very next day. And it was because in that video on April 6th, as I'm reviewing her and calling out things that she was doing that were horrific to the victims and the families, she pulled her video down. And that was the first time that I did the checkmate bitch and pulled her stream right back up because I had already downloaded it. And that caused fucking chaos.
Thanks,
and
Katie.
Epic proportions of chaos. So then multiple things happened. So Brittany was pissed at me, but there was other stuff with that SW brewing. She was not a mod for Brittany. SW wasn't at that point in time. She has only became a mod of Brittany since the fallout with like all of the other shit. She is, in my opinion, kind of paid her way for a wrench. But now you can find SW over hanging out with BHB as of this morning, which is quite fucking wild to see. So there's multiple things going on at once, and I'm sorry it's been confusing. And a lot of people have been thinking that I've been talking about X, Y, or Z. If I haven't named you and like told exactly what I'm talking about, like you're not involved in what I'm talking about. Like what I have talked about is very right here. Like this is what has been happening. Katie K, thank you so much. But that, yes, she did. Rabbit did an incredible live stream. Roller skate slam, the wrench things caused so many issues. But at the end of the day, I need to apologize to you guys because these distractions are a lot. And I know it confuses you guys because it does get very ugly, but there is multiple situations brewing at once. And when you go after somebody's words and like mirror them back at them, people freak out and they do the craziest shit and align with other people that do the craziest shit, and it becomes a snowball effect. So when I say I'm not interested in the drama, that doesn't mean I'm not going to defend myself or defend the people I care about. That doesn't mean that at all. It means that unless it's my drama or involves my channel, I'm not interested. The personal back and forth there was something that they've been ever since I started addressing her. It started, and you can go watch it all fall apart. Like it all was right there. Katie, again, thank you so much. All right. Now, this is the ending piece. Thank you all for being here tonight too and hanging out with us. Hey, Seymour. I appreciate you guys all for being a part of this conversation and actually taking part in it. And even if you have differing opinions, being respectful in chat.
It's a really hard subject, but people.
It is. It's a
being
hard
able
one.
to talk about it with level heads.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can all get back to somewhat.
We got to bridge a gap because at the end of the day, most of us are in these conversations because we want better for victims and their families. But that means that they deserve the protections that we should allow. And a lot of these characters that are involving themselves are just that. They're characters. They're characters who are using this for self-serving motives and propaganda, whatever it may be. They all have self-serving needs. And what is my biggest fear is what I'm seeing is we're getting a one-up situation. So it's like BHB comes out and does all these things. And then here comes Dog the Bounty Hunter says, hold my beer and watch this shit to up the other. Like it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And at the end of the day, there's a missing child that's being forgotten in the entire thing. Oh, yeah. Very questionable justice. Very questionable. And, you know, it is what it is. They can have anybody. But, yeah, the whole victimhood status shit over there that's going on and just repeating, I'm not interested in. They've lied on me so much. But I will correct some lies. In fact, I think it's probably good for people to know that if they're in the inbox, like, have fun with those trackers. I mean, we moved here August 31st. And by the beginning of October, her algorithm, Veda Jade, the person that is fucking insane and has exposed me 500 times that it's associated with BJ and all this back end shit, Tamale and all these people anyways, she was doing a live stream. Her fucking algorithm, she doesn't have premium, and it pulled down ads from Gilbert and Queen Creek, which was 6 miles from my location. I can say that because that's a huge fucking area and you can go all different directions. But 6 miles, and her algorithm outed her. And that's all public on my channel too. It's a little uncomfortable when these people are that involved in and you have nothing to do with them. All you want is better for victims and their families, and they come out as cleanup crews for these pieces of shit and just as intentional distractions. They don't let go very easily either when they get, I guess she's a super successful, like amazing creator these days. So anywho's, on to the important stuff. Just be very careful what's going on. There's a lot of shit going on out here that is unnecessary and sideways.
Frank Rusek.
This is Frank Sr.
Last summer on August 13th, 2018.
Good night, Wood Drake.
My daughter Shannon.
Yes, Wood Drake. We're going to do some Halloween. We need to make caramel corn, dip apples. I think we'll do pumpkin patches again, the popcorn balls and the little cornflake treats. Those are always fun. Maybe we'll do some little like chocolate dipped things or something in a pumpkin style or something like that. Or like, maybe I'll do Buckeyes in a pumpkin style, like a pumpkin theme or something. But yes, we will be doing some of that. We have races coming up here soon, and then everything should be, once we get home, we should be fine to go. Okay.
Cows.
Yeah, once we get everything settled and get home and get everybody situated and stuff, yeah.
Children were murdered. They were killed by Shannon's husband and the children's father.
Let me start that over again. Good night, Beth. Lanky, I got you. I have a really easy, there's one on my channel, actually, I think.
Night twist.
Good night, you guys. Okay, this is Frank Sr., and I want you to listen to his message.
Hello, I am Frank Lusek.
This is a longer one.
Last summer, on August 13, 2018, my daughter Shannon Watts
Good night,
and her
Margot.
children were murdered. They were killed by Shannon's husband and the children's father, Chris Watts. I can't possibly describe how painful the last 11 months have been for myself, my wife, and my son, Frankie Jr. And for everyone else who cared so much about Shannon and her children. Just dealing with this type of tragedy.
This is Shanann's dad. Yeah, if you haven't heard this, you guys, this is really sad. This is a sad reality from a victim's dad. Yeah, thank you, Pika. That's probably necessary. Rondi, all of these recipes can be found on my other channel, my All the Nonsense channel. They're all there. Everything I just talked about should be on the backup channel. That's where I do all my cooking. Okay, I'm going to go in so you guys can hear this appropriately with no background noise. Well, besides the dishwasher, but because I really want you guys to hear this message.
Is more than a family should bear. But I am making a statement today because for the past 11 months, piled on top of pain and the grieving of this devastating loss, our family has been subject to horribly. Cruelly abused, outright bullying, and on a daily basis. I don't want to draw more attention to the viral material that has been posted online. And so I don't want to go into specifics, but I will say that our family, including Shannon and her children and our grandchildren, have been ridiculed, demeaned, slandered, mocked in the most vicious ways you can imagine. We have been subject to false accusations, fake Facebook accounts, hate speeches, and constant stream of ugly, evil insults and attacks. Every time we turn around, there is someone trying to capitalize on our tragedy. By spreading false rumors and outright lies about Shannon and our grandchildren. We have been subject to threats on our lives, all because we are victims in painful tragedy. This is so wrong. It is cruel, it is heartless, and it's flat wrong. It breaks my heart to know that we are not the first family to have to live through this kind of tragedy. And we won't be the last. Families like ours should have the right to be safe and the right of basic level of privacy, the right to mourn in peace. And it boils my blood that my family and other families are dealing with worse imaginable tragedy, have to deal with this kind of cruelty and bullying. It needs to stop. To Congress or to any position in power, we are calling on you to do something to pass laws that will protect victims of unspeakable crimes from this kind of abuse. Our online social media sites like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We have contacted you many times, reported this abuse, but no avail. We are calling on you again to do the right thing, to take some responsibility for your platforms and stop this despicable conduct. To the people who feel they are entitled to profit off our loss, we urge you, please stop. And for the people who are interested in this case, who feel compelled to comment and discuss, please stick to the truth. It is painful enough for us to just dealing with the reality. Reading the insane conspiracy theories, ugly false rumors, and lies only make it more painful. Finally, to the people who have stood with us, who have supported us and prayed for us and our family. For Shannon and her grandchildren, we can't thank you enough. God bless you all, and thank you for your time. Thank you.
Quick question, and ask this respectfully.
So now they're going to ask, he's being asked a question.
Was there any fear about coming forward because you're now giving these people that are saying this stuff more for their platforms, if you will?
No.
Did you come here back to Colorado here today for the sole purpose of doing this?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Why? Because I felt it needed to be done here at her house.
Because that's how that.
I'll put it on the screen tomorrow so I can share it again, because I think it's such a powerful message that needs to be heard.
Yes, it is.
I mean, for people, you know, it sounds like a lot of this is happening in the online space. I know you don't want to go too much into it, but people hide behind those names on the internet, and it sounds like that's what's kind of going on.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how that's?
Basically, it's a nonstop thing. Everybody talking about things that were not done correctly, and keep pushing issues. It's a lot of ugly out there. A lot of ugly.
I mean, how is your family? This should be your time to grieve. You went through the court process. This should be your time to, to grieve. And it sounds like you haven't even fully been able to do that very well because of everything else.
No, we haven't. It's not that we're looking at the stuff that's on YouTube's and Facebook, and it gets sent to us.
Have you had people contact you directly? Some of these things that are out there, have they contacted the family directly?
Not personally on our, live stuff, but on computer type, your phones and stuff.
Like Facebook messages, they try to contact you, some of these folks?
What would you tell those people? I mean, I know some of them might watch this or post this on the internet tonight. What would you tell them?
Like I've been telling them for the longest time, just stop. Please just stop. Get on with your lives. Leave ours alone. We can't grieve. It's just a nonstop thing. They know who they are. We have a lot of YouTubers out there that are, I'll mention YouTubers, and they are backing us. But there's a lot out there that are just terrible.
You mentioned lawmakers. I mean, is there something that you hope they can do for legislation?
Well, I hope they can do something about these, this YouTube, Facebook, or Google, whoever is involved in the Twitters, and because it's not fair to these victims that are going through this. We don't deserve it.
You're speaking on behalf of other people.
I'm speaking on behalf of other people that I've read already in there, and it's not fair to us.
What has been the response, let's say, of Facebook when you said, please help us, flag this? What's been the response?
Nothing. Nothing.
It's been nearly a year now since this crime happened. Is stopping your ability to, I know you can't move on.
This was almost a year after. And look at what has continued all these years later. There's still people doing live streams on the Watts case now.
To try and progress forward?
Yeah, because we hear it all the time. It's a ongoing thing. Like I said, there's a lot of people out there that are helping us, and they're pushing, and they're really, really pushing to get these people stopped. But it just seems as though YouTube I don't know what it is with them.
Knowing this is such a big case, if you could choose how your daughter's name is being kept alive right now, how would you want people online to be talking about her and your granddaughters?
Speak the truth. My daughter and my grandchildren are beautiful people. And my daughter was a very smart person, intelligent person. And she needs to be kept that way instead of being ridiculed and talked down about.
You mentioned a little bit about in the prepared statement, just thanking folks that, can you speak more to that? I mean, your appreciation and gratitude.
Well, we get a lot of support from all over the world. You're talking England, Philippines, Australia. Everybody sends cards, gifts, supporting us. They don't even know us. And it hits you in the heart when you see that people out there really do care and don't even know you. Just by seeing what's going on out there, they appreciate you.
Speaking to the Tri-Town area, anything you wanted to say since you're here, the three communities up here that for the support and whatnot?
I just thank them all the time when I come out here.
All right. So that's the majority of it. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it. For those of you that have not seen that before, that's Frank Sr. That's Shanann's dad. And that was what they had endured just after this happened, and it has continued on. One other thing I want to mention that really frustrates me every time there's a mass event, such as the recent event in Georgia, is I have seen thumbnail after thumbnail, title after title, with the minor child's photo and name instead of the victims. It's another event where four lives were lost. Christian, Mason, Richard, and Christina were the 4 lives that were lost in that mass event in Winder, Georgia. But people will never remember their names. They'll remember the perpetrator. It's not about the victims. It's not about the victim's story. We're giving celebrity status to mass events such as this, when in reality, we should be talking about the victims. Again, their names are Christian, Mason, Richard, and Christina. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to piss some of you off at the end of this. I'm sick of hearing that thoughts and prayers go out to the families of these mass events. Have all the access to whatever you want, but be a reasonable, responsible owner if you're going to have pew-pews. Because thoughts and prayers aren't saving our children. Thoughts and prayers aren't stopping the next mass casualty. Thoughts and prayers aren't bringing these victims back to their families. Thoughts and prayers aren't fixing a fucking thing, because we can't even talk about it in the reality of what it should be talked about. Because people get upset because how dare you want to encroach on their freedoms? Well, I'm sorry, but it's about time that these conversations are had. And mental illness is a real thing for children too. Well, shit, in ECB, we even see states that have had red flag laws that have completely bypassed those laws because the sheriff's department decided that they didn't think there was a problem, even though there was one sitting on the counter right there. I mean, look at what was she, 80-something years old? And her caregiver, live-in boyfriend or whatever, shot her in New Mexico. We covered that. Oh, absolutely, Revival. Yep, he's been charged. These conversations have to be had, and they need to be had realistically, because there isn't an easy fix, but we've got to do something. We've got to do something, because it is so scary having to talk to your kids about what to do in a situation like this. And that's the reality right now. We all have to have these conversations because we don't know. Thoughts and prayers aren't fixing it, people. It's fucking so sad. There's a 15-year-old missing child from Hendersonville, Tennessee. His name is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. There's also many other missing children across this country that deserve attention and awareness to their stories and their faces to be heard and their stories to be known. There's victims of mass tragedies such as this that deserve to be known and their dignity had. Instead, we idolize and celebritize people that were going through a rough time, that made horrible decisions. And I'm not excusing any of it whatsoever. None of it is excusable, but cycles need to be broken. And access to weapons after, like, just the timeline of how that all happened, too. The fact that he had previous incident and then they went out and bought, like, those parents just, ooh, hoo, hoo. Yeah, Terry. Exactly. Exactly. So with that said, I think I've pissed off enough people tonight, and I'm happy for it. Thank you all for being here for a part of this conversation, because if we're going to talk about what really matters, then we've got to talk about the tough shit, because victims are going through their worst, and we continue as a society to think it's okay and acceptable to kick them when they're down. I watched Burnt Toast tonight, the entire stream through. It was the first stream I'd watched all day on YouTube about anybody like around us, because I was doing research. Well, that's a lie. I watched Nick, those, and I was doing research on Dog and all the connections and shit like that. And Molly doing pre-records. Oh, that's a pain in the ass. But anywho, I sat down and watched her stream tonight, and just the shit that they laid out from start to finish that Betty is doing, and watching how many people are condoning that behavior and thinking that it's acceptable. Well, they have a right, journalists can do this. Well, if that's allowed and if they're considered journalists, then that's got to change. Like, this isn't okay. And to see how many people are condoning this and loving it and pushing the envelope to, oh, well, Betty's doing this. That's what worries me, is the people in those chats condoning it that think this is acceptable and are like learning to perfect what she does and up it a notch. Like, this is scary. And it's the reality of where we're headed, because there's just going to be another one. Unfortunately, they all vie for that top spot of being the most vile creature around. Look at what I just told you about Justin. And there's more. And he's only been on here, I think, 3 years. And that is every single case he has touched. There's basically something like that that associates with him. And he just, fuck it, moves right along. I mean, shit, he lost his monetization on his Justin for All channel. He just went right over and milked another story and is building another one. It's a revolving shit show. And we've got to be able to have these real hard conversations and the reality of what truly is happening here. Whether any of us want to see it or not, it's happening. And we've got to put an end to it, because there's real lives being impacted. They can't shut it off at the end of the day. They have a missing child, and this is what is happening times 1,000. I can barely handle the fucking wild shit that I've had done to me by like 10 of these people. I can't imagine having thousands of them coming in to your life and digging through and trying to have every fucking thing in your world turned upside down because they think you're guilty of something. Because at some point in time, they thought they could be an armchair detective because they failed at everything else in life. It's fucking gross, and it's only getting worse. Sebastian doesn't deserve any of this. Not at all. None of these families have deserved any of this. None of these victims have deserved any of this. But until it changes that you guys can tell me the names of the victims before you can tell me the perpetrator's name, we've got a problem. And to all you people that fucking claim you're true crime, you're a disappointment. And that's not me talking down to you. That's talking reality to you. I know where I am. I'm an asshole with a YouTube channel. I don't claim to be anything other. But you're scum that have built careers off of kicking people at their worst times. And you can go to bed and sleep at night. I don't have a problem with people telling the factual stories and being monetized. Not one bit. Stick to the facts. There's very little facts that are known in this case. And none of this was necessary. And those people that do stick to the facts and are monetized, 9 times out of 10, they give back to the families. They donate to organizations. They're big advocates in their communities or they do something good with what comes of this. And I cheer that on majorly because we could all make a better society. But we've got a lot of fixing from the true crime community, assholes on YouTube commentary. All of us can do better. All the way up to the White House. I mean, it doesn't stop. Our prison systems, our medical systems, everything needs overhauled, and it's the reality. Have a great night, you all. Thank you for being here once again, and I will probably see you tomorrow. If not, I will try to do a pre-record. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. I have kids sick, other stuff going on, surgery stuff. Like, there's just a lot going on, so my schedule is going to be a little wonky. Night streams, I wanted to do this one, start this whole series with Kyle home so he could talk, or Kyle next to me, I should say. But once we get home and everything gets back on track, probably like in October, I'll be able to get like a set schedule of when I like back to like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, like type stuff. And I'm also going to throw a little political coverage in here, not left or right sided. But I dropped a post earlier today on my community wall about what some YouTubers are being charged with. Federal indictments, I should say. Their federal indictments came down today on some YouTube channels in the political sphere. And it's really fucking wild. It's a company out of Tennessee called Tenant that, yeah, I encourage you to go and search it from multiple sides. And then I would also encourage you to go listen to Tim Pool's video from 2 days ago. I think 2 days ago, maybe 3, where he is threatening a lawsuit right before the federal indictment gets made publicly. I encourage you to go listen to that after you kind of see some of this. In my opinion, little beanie boy with the little tiny hands is getting what's coming to him. Anywho, we're going to probably talk about some of that too, but I'll keep that as like a separate segment. So there's that. I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening. Get some rest and stay safe out here. Bye. Thank you, mods. I know these are tough ones, and please, mods, always feel free to sit out of these conversations. I don't expect any of my mods to co-sign any of the things I'm saying, have the same belief systems as I do, any of it. If this is a problem for you, of course, you can always have me take your wrench. But you can also always, you guys know, I don't expect anything. You guys can sit out. I don't expect you guys to be here and try to manage it, because these get hot topics. And I'm not afraid of going all the way in on them. And I don't want you guys to ever be negatively impacted because of that. So have a good night. Bye.